Good day, good day, good day. It is a beautiful day. Welcome to day one of the Becoming Masterclass. I'm actually really happy to be on here with you, as I'm always very happy to be on with you. Just getting myself situated. We have not a lot of time to get a lot of work done. Today we're going to be talking about the close of 2025 and getting you started and primed for 2026. I'm very excited about this. As you are coming in, please go ahead and let me know where you are watching from. It gives me great pleasure to see how far our reach is. So today, day one of the Becoming Masterclass, the final masterclass of the year. And this is one that I'm really looking forward to because it gets you to reflect on what the full year was like, to see what was promising, what needed some work on, what needed to be worked on, and to then decide what you want to take with you into 2026. And granted, we know the year is not over, okay? At this time, a lot of people, they tend to just say, you know what, I'm wrapping it up, I'm done. Their goals that they have set for the whole of 2025, they just say, you know what, I'm just going to push it to 2026 and go on from there. Please don't do that. You still have a lot of time, even if it's 2 weeks. Please don't do that. Continue to push until. And the reason I want you to continue to push until is because you're setting up new behaviors versus what you used to do. New behaviors that you can rely on yourself. Okay, you're saying that you can rely on yourself. So just keep pushing. Okay? Oh my goodness, there's just a lot of stuff that we've got to cover. You're going to require a pen and paper because this is going to be an activity-based reflective time event. Let's call it that, okay? But again, I'm really grateful that you're here. Thank you very much for spending some time with me on your Sunday. I did have to change the time, so I'm very grateful for those of you who are able to come today, and I am very grateful for those of you who are catching this on the replay. As you're coming in, like I said before, just let me know where you're watching from, and we'll take it from there. So, a little bit of housekeeping, as we always do. This is a 2-day event. It's a 2-day live event in which I'm going to teach you, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to coach you, I'm going to train you, I'm going to help you reflect. Okay? Typically, we go between an hour and an hour and a half each day. Okay? So expect that for today, as well as typically between an hour and a half tomorrow at noon, to give yourself maximum till 1:30 Eastern time. Okay? This is very interactive today. It's of utmost importance that you really communicate with me, okay? Because I'm going to be asking you some questions, and these are going to be some reflective questions, but some of them are not hypothetical. Some of them require your answer. So this is going to make it a lot more impactful for you when we can dialogue back and forth, okay? So it's going to be, well, let me just say that comments are definitely encouraged, okay? You're going to need a pen and paper, because like I said before, we're going to be doing a lot of reflective thinking. There are going to be questions. You're going to have to write some things down that you will not get the opportunity to do enough of here because we have such a limited window of time, because we could spend hours going through this, but we're not going to do that. So you're going to need a pen and paper. You're going to be doing some journaling today, okay? So I'm going to give you some set time for journaling, but as we go along, as I'm asking you these questions, I will take it slowly so that you can write down these questions so that you can work on them when we're done with this live today, okay? And then as always, aside from these prompts that I'm giving you, there's homework. Because would this be a live event from Shani, Leatham if there was no homework? No, it wouldn't. I want you to be able to live this experience, okay? It's one thing to just understand it and to know it. It's another thing to live it and to embody it so that you can make proper changes in your life. Or if there are no changes to be made, have documentation of what's going great in your life, okay? Also, on day 2, tomorrow, there's going to be a very big announcement. It's a huge announcement, and let's just say it has to do with thousands of dollars. Okay, so I'm really excited to share that one with you tomorrow. It would benefit you greatly to make sure you're on tomorrow's live. Okay, let us begin with a prayer, as we always do. You may not be a believer, but I am, so just indulge with me. Dear Lord, thank you so much for allowing us to fellowship here today. I thank you for all who come on this masterclass, either live or during the replay. Let them reflect on all the things that have worked well for them and all the things that they need improvement on, Lord. Let them sit here with an open heart and an open mind and just be ready to be in gratitude, not only for themselves, but for you. Yes. Speak through my vocal cords and not through anything else. Think through my mind. Nothing broken, nothing gained. All of you and none of me. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I felt like I was getting something that I had to write down, hence the yes. So sometimes when I'm teaching, it comes through me. It's not of me. So I'm here to listen. I'm here to say, okay, whatever you want from me, let's do it. Okay, so I just want you to know that this is about you. It's not about me. This is literally about you. I hope you have your pen and your paper. I do, because I'm going to be doing some of the reflection with you, okay? That makes it a lot more fun for me so that we can do this together. So this is a little bit sacred, okay? Because this is where we're going to pause. We're going to pause long enough, pause this pace so we can do some acknowledging. And I want you to just like focus on your evolution, okay? So before we step into 2026 completely, we've got to do something that most people don't do. What do you think that is? Well, you already know what it is. We've got to complete the year consciously. Literally and consciously complete the year. So we're not just going to celebrate it, because that's a good thing. We've made it. We've heard people say, this is the most wonderful time of the year. We've made it to the end. But we're going to, beyond celebrate, we're also going to remember. And for a person who typically used to have a hard time remembering things, like this is a great way to just jog your memory, to celebrate the things, to acknowledge what needs to be acknowledged, get some really great feedback, okay? So we're going to complete the year emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically, okay? Because completion gives you clarity. Completion gives you power. Completion gives you space. And so most people, they rush straight into the new year, right? They're carrying the same identity. They're carrying the same beliefs. They've got the same fears. They've got the same habits. They've got the same self-image, the same self-concept. I'm done with last year. I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm just going to go to the new one, right? Most people do that. But nothing changes because they haven't changed. And so if you think about it, there's always this cycle because we haven't had the time to give ourselves some feedback on what our year was like. Some people do it. My sister does this very, very well, but most people don't. So, but you're here, you're watching, whether it's live or it's on the replay. So I know you're different. I know you're different. You are someone who has chosen to meet yourself deeply. You are someone who has chosen to reflect, to release, and to rise, okay? So today is about the past, not just to relive it. I don't want that to be your experience, especially if it wasn't a great experience, but I want you to harvest that past. Every win, every lesson, every moment of growth, every time you showed who you were, right? Every time you surprised yourself. These are things that you need to revisit. These are things that you need to relive. And this is how you break patterns, okay? This is how you elevate your identity. This is how you create a different future so that we're no longer just living through that same loop. We're discovering who we are, what we love about ourselves, what we would like to improve so that we can break that cycle and create something new. Cool? All right, let's begin. Today, day one. Day one is about what went right, okay? It's about what stretched you. It's about what you learned about yourself. Ooh, I love that. It's about what you're meant to leave behind. Because like I said, we're not taking everything with us. We're not doing that, okay? And it's about the identity you built without even realizing it. And I want you to recognize that You cannot create a powerful 2026 if you don't complete your 2025. Okay? And while there are still 2 weeks left in the month, okay, I said this already, but it doesn't mean that you stop. It doesn't mean that you give up on your goals. It doesn't mean that you just sit back and just say, forget it, I'll just start over. I'll just push it to January and do better, be better, all of that. No, you can't just do that without knowing what needs to be reflected on, okay? Do not push your goals over, okay? You keep pushing until. I know this is celebration time and we want to just like ease up and like chill. But if you have a goal and you're so close to meeting it, why stop? Just go meet it, okay? Because every results that you've experienced this year, whether it was emotional, whether it was financial, whether it was relational, it all came from an energy, from identity, and from a set of beliefs that you possess, that you were operating from. So if you don't understand the version of you created this year, you're going to unconsciously bring him or her into the next year. And we're not here to repeat, okay? We're here to become, baby. That's why this is called the becoming, okay? So you know, reflection is not about criticism. Just so you know, we're not here to criticize anything. I don't want you to be so hard on yourself. We're already our toughest and roughest and biggest critics. That's not what this is for, okay? This is about conscious awareness so that you are opening your eyes to what needs to be, okay? And awareness really is the doorway to transformation, okay? It really, really is the doorway to transformation. Let me make sure that I'm seeing all the comments, if any, just yet. I want to make sure that I'm here for you in every possible way. Okay, cool. Are we good? Are we ready? So let's start by doing something light. I want to acknowledge your wins, okay? I want to acknowledge your wins. Have you ever noticed this? And maybe you have, but for some reason, people just minimize their accomplishments. I don't know, they rush through their wins. They downplay them. Have you ever noticed that? They just move on. They're like, it's okay. They don't think that their win was big enough, so it's maybe something that they don't want to celebrate. So, for example, Shani, you gave a great presentation. This was really, really great. And I'm just like, oh, well, all kudos goes to the team, right? It was actually a group effort. All praise goes to them. Somebody complimented me on an accomplishment that I did, right? Like I gave a great presentation or whatever it is that was really, really good. And yet I deflected. I completely took all the attention off of me, probably unbeknownst to me. And I said, it was a group effort. All praise goes to them. And while I guess that's being noble, it also discounts the amount of time that I put into delivering that great presentation or whatever it is that it is, right? I know that presentation was probably captivating and it was badass, but all praise goes to the team, right? Just because you're acknowledging your own wins and just because you're acknowledging something that you did doesn't mean that you disacknowledge something that somebody else has done. It doesn't take attention away from anyone else. It's allowing yourself to recognize something good that you did. If you don't celebrate you, who will? Right? If you don't celebrate you, who will? And this happens all the time. I notice it so often. And maybe you do. Maybe this is something that you've done in the past and just never took credence to it, never paid much attention to it, but it does happen all the time. And sometimes it's because there's what they call imposter syndrome, right? You know what that is, right? So imposter syndrome it's that feeling like you're a fraud despite your success. Like you don't deserve to be recognized as a person who's done something really, really well. Inside your mind, you've told yourself that you're not worthy, that, again, it's a group effort. That's imposter syndrome. It could be for fear of being looked at as arrogant or narcissistic. Like, come on. Anywho, this is one of the reasons why people minimize their wins, or you sometimes compare yourself negatively to someone else. So maybe they did something really, really great and you did something really, really great. However, you put your bar up here and you put their bar down here. So what they've accomplished seems a lot better than what you've accomplished. Even though you've done more work, you've spent more time, you've put in more effort, you've done a better job delivering, but you compare yourself negatively to other people and their accomplishments. Sometimes it's about perfectionism, So if it doesn't go exactly the way you wanted it to go, then it's not worth recognizing. Then you just acknowledge it, then you minimize it, you make it small. You say, you know what, next one will be better. It happens so often. It happens so often. It could be because of ingrained humility, right? Or beliefs. So I've heard many people say that they do not, they don't brag on themselves. They don't talk about themselves because it looks bad to others. It looks like conceit. It looks like, instead of confidence, it looks like conceit. It looks like all of these things that they aren't. And so they put the attention to somebody else. Just be humble, fall back, sit in your place, keep your head down, do your own thing. Don't recognize all the greatness that's already within you that you're exuding. And sometimes that's just ingrained. Sometimes that's religious. Sometimes that's just the way your family was and the things that they taught. You do your work in the background and let somebody else take the shine. When it's got nothing to do with taking the shine, but acknowledging something good that you did. So oftentimes when it comes to our wins, we minimize them. We make them so small and you keep it to yourself. Or another thing that happens is you won't celebrate unless you get external validation. So until someone says, oh my gosh, Shani, you did a great job. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I did. Instead of, I did a great job. Oh, you recognize that too? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I mean? So if we need that external validation, what happens when you don't get it? What happens if nobody is there to tell you how fantastic you are? What happens if nobody is there to tell you how good of a job you did? Then what? Then what happens? So you've got to learn to validate yourself, wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you think? So we're not doing that here though. We're not doing that. This is not what this is about. Not here, not today. We are going to acknowledge. We're going to acknowledge what we did. I want you to just slow down and I want you to feel your victories. Okay? Just feel them because they're victories. Whether they're big ones, they're micro ones, they're internal ones, mindset ones, whatever it is. I want you to feel your victories because you grew in ways that you probably even forgot. You forgot to celebrate. And I'm pretty certain you overcame things you didn't think you could. Yeah? And I'm sure you stretched your capacity. I'm sure you stretched your capacity. So you've held yourself through moments that required a level of strength that your old self didn't have. So just pause for a moment and take a breath. Okay? Now this is where you're going to need to start some writing. So if you don't have a pen and paper ready, please go run and get a pen and paper. We're going to be doing a lot of reflection today. Okay? A lot of reflection today. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Go run and get a pen and paper. And when you're on a live, 30 seconds seems like, it seems like forever. It seems like an hour and a half, but I'm just going to give you opportunity. And like I said, this is interactive. This is where you're going to show some comments, you're going to answer. But again, this is not you just watching. Otherwise, you're not going to really get much out of this today. Okay? 30 seconds up, 30 seconds is up. Let's do this. I want you to ask yourself this and write this down because chances are you won't have the opportunity to complete it right now. So what are 3 things? Let's start with 3. What are 3 things that you did this year that you're proud of? What are 3 things that you did this year that you're proud of? It could be anything. It could be small. It could be large. It could be, you started taking some time for yourself. Who knows? It could be you started a new career. It could be you started going out on dates again after a long time. It could be anything. What are 3 things that you did this year that you're proud of? Okay. Question number 2. What internal wins did you have? So this requires you to think about what happened on the inside, not things that you physically did. Okay. So maybe you improved your confidence, you increased your confidence. Maybe you set some boundaries. Maybe you did some healing. Maybe there was some emotional maturity, whatever it is. Okay. What are some internal wins that you had? And I'm telling you, you need to write these down. You need to write these down. This is how you're going to reflect on the year and how you're going to determine what needs to come with you into 2026. Okay. And another question, what is a way or many ways that you surprised yourself? In what ways did you surprise yourself? I really love this question because you get to see that you're not one-dimensional. You get to see that you're probably more capable of doing things that than you thought. So in what ways did you surprise yourself? Okay. Next question. What are moments you want to remember because they showed you who you really are? What are moments you want to remember because they showed you who you really are? What are moments that you want to remember because they showed you who you really are? Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, what problems arose this year that your past self wouldn't have been able to handle, but you did? That's a good one. So what problems arose this year that your past self would not have been able to handle, but you did anyway? Okay. Write that down. Write these questions down. Even if you have some answers right now, go ahead, just continue to write down. Okay. These prompts are for your benefit. They're there to help you. They're there to guide you. They're there to give you some answers and some insight for your 2026. Okay. I want you to just go beyond the obvious things though, my friend, because if you don't think a little deeper, you're not going to really get the answers you want. So start thinking a little bit deeper about the things that you've done. So maybe you had some hard conversations, right? That's something that you did. Typically, you wouldn't have the hard conversations. Maybe you would avoid them typically, or perhaps the decisions that you didn't avoid. Like let's be acknowledging of that. The decisions you did not avoid that you maybe typically would have avoided, or the days you kept going even when you just wanted to give up. Because I know we all had those at one point or another, right? You've had enough, you've had it up to here, but you kept going until you kept going despite the problem. You kept going in spite of. Think about that. When I say go deeper, that's what I'm saying. I want you to think of the opportunities that you actually stepped into. Yeah. So maybe you applied for a new job or a new career. Maybe you moved across the country or to another country. Maybe you allowed yourself some connection and got into a new relationship. What opportunities did you step into that perhaps the year before you didn't? Perhaps the year before you wouldn't have allowed yourself to, but you said, you know what, this year is the year I'm going to do it, and you did it. And by the way, I'm really proud of you. Okay. Or the growth that you embodied quietly that nobody knows about, that there are no applause for it. So this is what I say. This is what I mean when I say I want you to go deeper, when I want you to think deeper on your reflections. Okay. You cannot neglect your victories and expect your self-worth to rise. That's just not going to happen. Okay. Because what happens is when you get the feedback, of the things that were great, you want to do more great things. You recognize what you're capable of, and it naturally leads to more of what you're capable of. Okay. And then you start asking yourself, well, what else can I do? What else can I do? I've accomplished this. If I can do this, what else can I do? You start to expand your mind. You start to look at yourself differently. Your identity begins to change. You start to take different actions. And because you're now starting to take different actions, you're starting to get different results, better results, more impactful results. You're even more proud of yourself than you were before because you started to acknowledge your wins. So there's a purpose for this. There's a purpose for this reflection time, this reflection period, and these questions that I'm asking you. So again, it is to help, it is to guide, it is to push you along the way that you need to go. Okay? This causes a beautiful ripple effect in your accomplishments in your life. Okay? So acknowledge your victories. Like if you haven't done it before, right now, on the 14th of December, at whatever time it is, acknowledge your victories. Okay? Acknowledge your victories. So, one of my most notable victories for 2025, I'm doing this along with you, okay, was the creation and the launch of my signature program, Unlimited. So, prior to me starting this program, this work, I had started a company, an unconventional education company called the Breakthrough Academy. And I've been teaching one-on-one for a few years behind the scenes. It was all referral based about subconscious reprogramming, about nervous system regulation, about manifestation, about wealth legacy, like all the things, rewiring your brain, setting yourself up for success, all of these things. However, one-on-one work took a toll eventually because I realized that my capacity for more was really small, really, really small. So I decided I had this pull towards helping more people. And it's always been a thing on my life, a pull on my life to just help as many people as I could. So I took what I was teaching one-on-one and I created a group coaching program. And I'm really proud of myself because even though it started out slow, and it did, enrollment after enrollment after enrollment, and then results after results after results. And we just continue to keep growing as the Breakthrough Academy. We just continue to keep growing. And my clients or my students or whatever you want to call them, again, they're seeing such beautiful things happen in their lives. They're seeing one went from $3,000 a month to $15,000 a month as their from their side business take home their profits. One went from $8,000 to $49,000 a month. That's their new benchmark. So they were hoping for $50,000, but whatever. And we are working together 6 months at a time, right? And this is just something that I started this year for the group coaching aspect. One bought a house, didn't have to deposit 30 days before they made the decision to do the offer. Like, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased with myself, but I'm so pleased with them. But I'm so pleased with myself that I decided to listen to the pull. I decided to listen to the pull to help as many people as I could. And so sometimes, sometimes you wonder if you have enough time, if you are, because I was already busy, right? If you have enough time, if you're busy, you've got to take care of mom. And I was teaching in schools and I was running this business and all that it included prior to that, and being an active friend and an active family member. And you think of, can I do anything more? And oftentimes what happens is we listen to those questions, can I do anything more? And we think of it as doubt. We think of it as a sign to not go for it, right? It seemed like a lot to me. Can any of you relate to that? But what I realized was I was literally capable of doing whatever I wanted to do. Whatever I wanted to do, I was capable of it. I just needed to decide if I was actually willing to do it. And that's the difference. I think that's the thing that a lot of people get hemmed up on. They get blocked by, stopped by. The difference between, are you capable of doing it? And yes, you are. And are you willing to do it? That's the thing. And I'm so glad You have no idea. I'm so glad that I decided to focus on all the ways that it would work instead of all the reasons why I shouldn't do it. Because the amount of people, the messages that I get of thanks for opening myself up and opening up this program to people who are making significant changes in their life, who are seeing changes in their relationships, who are seeing changes in their income, who are seeing changes in their self-confidence. They're finally recognizing their self-worth and their value because I decided to focus on what I could do and live in the realm of possibilities and in the finished works of Christ. You know, I'm I'm beyond grateful. So this was an accomplishment for me, right? Now, in my life now, I have more than I thought I would lose by launching Unlimited. I have more than what I thought I would lose. So I now have more time with my daughter, which is great, and all of her endless activities. Like we just had, I posted this the other day. She had her first recital, band recital in high school. And then yesterday was tournament day for volleyball. They got silver, by the way. So whoop, whoop. Her endless activities. I have more time for my friends now and for my family, which is great. And for myself. I have so much more time for myself. I have this streamlined business. I only accept the supply jobs that I want to accept as opposed to having to accept them to get this extra income, right? I'm reaching more people in less time than before because I've created a group coaching program. So I sleep better. My nervous system is pleased. So I've accomplished something really, really fantastic. Amen. Thank you. I've accomplished something really, really fantastic. And I'm acknowledging it. I'm acknowledging it. I acknowledge that there were times where it was tough. I'm acknowledging that there were times where I wasn't sure anyone would want to join these group programs that I had, and that I do cohorts of 2 people up to 20. I acknowledge that, but I also acknowledge that in order for me to get better, I've got to be better. And I just have to do it. All right. I just have to do it. So, what are you accomplishing? I want you to celebrate your wins, no matter what. It will lead to more. And I'll tell you that since I launched Unlimited, I've been on podcasts, guests on podcasts, a guest on podcasts. I've had a few, what do you call them? Keynote speaking opportunities. I've been asked to co-author a book. I've been asked to present my own conference. So all of that is in the works. Like, and that's because I decided to just focus on what I can do and focus on what's possible, whether or not I knew how to make it work, even without the evidence of like the groups being impactful. I knew my one-on-one work was great. I'm me. I knew it was great. But you just have to do it anyway, okay? So let's go on and talk about what 2025 taught you. And I know the year's not over, I do, but I want you to think about that. So to me, every year is an initiation of some sorts, right? It's kind of like a training ground. It's a place of remembering who you are or awakening who you could be. Yes? So 2025 should have taught you things you didn't know you needed. If you allowed yourself to learn, when you go back and reflect, you're going to really realize that it taught you things you didn't know you needed. It taught you who you were and who you weren't. It taught you what you're going to tolerate and what you won't tolerate. It literally shined the light on what you're willing to tolerate and what your desires are. Yeah. It showed you what's aligned and what's expired. It taught you who you were and who you aren't. So let's talk about what it really taught you. Okay. There's always a theme for some reason. There's always a lesson. And so your results are the mirrored reflection of what you're technically broadcasting, right? We always broadcast some things. So I've got some questions. I really want you to think about these. Okay. So if you have your pen ready, let's write these down. So what were the biggest lessons this year brought you? Think about it. What were the biggest lessons that this year brought you? What were the biggest lessons that this year brought you? Okay. What truths did you discover about yourself? So it could be that you are capable of more than you thought. It could be that you really don't like the color green. My sister, she did this this survey, I don't know what it was, but this thing where she looked at her skin tone and she found the colors that were optimal for her. And she's a fashionista of some sorts. And she thought that all of these bright colors and these types of colors, cool colors, were good for her when it really actually like minimized her shine. And so she learned what colors worked well for her. Right. So that was a new truth. And now her new wardrobe, and listen, that girl can shop. That new wardrobe, she got it like that. She said, I'm not wearing these things anymore. Let me just give them away and get things that make me feel better, make me look better. And she's walking around with more confidence because she feels better in herself with the clothes that she's in, right? In what ways did this year challenge your old identity? So the way we start the year is never usually the way we end it unless we allow it to be so. There's always a lesson, there's always a theme, there's always something. So what was different? In which way did your old identity get challenged? Or do you even know what your old identity was? And if you didn't, that's okay. We're going to go through that, especially a lot more tomorrow. Okay. What did this year make you confront? What did this year make you confront? It's got to be something. There could be something about yourself. It could be something about people that are in your lives. Maybe they treated you really, really well, or maybe they didn't treat you as well as you deserved, and you confronted it. You said something about it. Or perhaps you didn't say something about it, but you recognized it within yourself and you kind of pulled yourself back. So what was something that this year made you confront? Okay. And then what patterns did this year highlight for you? So if you take the actual time to reflect, the patterns will reveal itself. I hope you're writing this down. Okay. We all have these habits that we unconsciously abide by. Okay. They're called our paradigm. So what were your most recognizable patterns or your most recognizable habits? And what were the ones that were hidden under the surface? So for example, a pattern is in how you spend your money. Yeah. How you made your money. Is it always the same thing? How you responded to things when maybe things didn't go your way. Did you throw a hissy fit? Did you throw things? Did you get really upset? Did you blame others? Did you recognize, okay, you know what, this didn't go my way, but I'm just going to roll with the punches and make it work next time? Like, what habits did you have? Did you always get upset or excited about the same things? Yeah, think about that. Or do you have the same daily routine? These are habits. You might not recognize them, but these are habits. Do you have the same morning routine, the same daily routine? Do you start the day the same way? Do you take the same route to work every day? Every day. Think about it. Do you take the same route to work every day? Do you spend a lot of time doom scrolling on social media? Just like this, the whole time. Are you doing that? Yeah? Some people have a habit of commiserating around the water cooler. I don't know if they still have water coolers in offices, but with the people that they work with. So, it's Monday again. It's going to be such a long week. The weekend wasn't long enough. There's so many hours in the day, right? They complain about the same things or they're gossiping. And then some people have the habit of eternal optimism. So what were your habits? What beliefs surfaced for you that you didn't realize that were still there? Think about that. And this is going to require some of that deep thought again, okay? So if you cannot come up with an answer right now, just come back to this later and just watch the replay. Come back to it later because, again, there's a lot of questions, a lot of reflection that needs to be had in order for us to push through to the next year successfully, okay? So it's important to recognize and to remember that lessons are not punishments. Just because you learn a thing, it's not a punishment, okay? They're actually revelations. They're feedback. And we all need feedback. Like, how can you get better unless you know, if you don't know what you need to get better on or get better at, right? So these reveal our paradigms that are still running your life, those habits that are still running your life, and the identity that I think you're ready to outgrow. So when you think about what it is that you want to create in the next year, in the next 6 months to 12 months, the identity that you have right now will not be the one that's going to help you create it. It's not going to be the one that's going to help you see the change. So we've got to recognize the identity that we have and make improvements upon it, or add additions to it, or remove some things from it. Okay? So these revelations, it's not punishment. It's not to make you feel bad. It's just to get you to see what needs to change or stay the same. Okay? Honor them. Honor these revelations. It's a good thing. Okay? So I'm actually going to switch up a bit and help you become aware of some things. Yeah? Okay. So I want to think about what our energy was like at the beginning of the year. So I like to call this like your January energy to your December reality. Okay? I want you to think back in time for a moment, just a moment. Okay? Think of January. Think of January of this year, 2025. It seems like a long time ago. It seems like a lifetime already, but who were you being? Who were you being? Not just what you were hoping for, okay? But what energy were you living in? Now, a great help in remembering who you were in January is you can just take a look at your phone and your pictures in your gallery and go back and say, oh, what was life like in January? Because, 12 months in a year, a lot has happened. We can't remember it all, but this is a great way. It's a good thing that I do, and my clients do. We just go back and, oh yeah, this happened in January. Oh yeah. Who was I being? I was being my confident self, or I was feeling really shy. I was feeling really unaccomplished because I didn't get to finish what happened in 2024, whatever it is. So who were you being? Okay. So that's the beginning of the year. It could have been the time when you made New Year's resolutions, right? So why did you make those resolutions? And then I want you to ask yourself, in January, were you hopeful or were you hesitant? Were you hopeful for the year to come, or the month to come, the days to come, or were you a little bit hesitant? Did you know that there were going to be some changes coming up and you weren't sure how you felt about it? Okay. So were you excited or were you exhausted? Yeah. Were you confident or were you uncertain? So how did you feel in January? Were you grounded or like, I'm good, I got this? Or were you reacting to everything? Like, did you have Shiny syndrome or the squirrel syndrome? Something happens, you're like, oh, 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 oh. What were you like in January? Because your manifestation doesn't respond to your goals. And this is in results in relation to what you manifested throughout the year. It's not responsive to your goals, okay? It responds to your state of being, so who you were. It's not about what you were doing, it's who you were being when you were doing it. So what was your January like? If your January felt heavy, as oftentimes Januaries do for a lot of people, after the high and the rush of December and everyone getting together for whatever holiday season they celebrate, right? You might even feel depleted because you spent a lot of money. Who knows? The rest of the year didn't punish you after that, okay? It just simply followed that frequency. So when we're going into January this year, I want you to pay attention to how you're feeling. That's why we're doing this now. That's why we're doing this now, because February, March, April, May up to December is going to follow the frequency of what you put out in January. So this is not blame. This is actually power. This is actually power, because when you understand this, you realize that you're not behind. You're actually just learning. Okay? Now let's talk about money. I'm a wealth manifestation mentor. I have a lot of people who come to me to increase their income. And a lot of the times we have to talk about your money beliefs. A lot of the time we have to talk about your money story. We all have a money story. Your money story is reflective in your bank account, whether you always have money coming in. And if you're working, you always have money coming in, whether it's your salary, your wages, whatnot. Or if you have money coming in from all avenues, from many avenues. right? If you run out of money by the end of the month, or perhaps there's always overflow. There's a money story that's attached to that, and it's attached to our identity. So I want you to think back to January, what that was like for you. Okay. I want you to be gentle and honest with yourself. So when you're reflecting, I want you to think about, what kind of money were you making then? And I don't know if you took vacation in December and it reflected the money that you got in January, but what kind of money were you making then? Do not put any of this in the comments, by the way. This is just for you. Okay. How did you feel about money at the beginning of the year? That is a big question. How did you feel about money at the beginning of the year? Did you feel like money was great? Money was abundant? Money was always enough? Money was an overflow? Money was scarce? You didn't have enough? Money you had to work really hard to get? You didn't have enough time in the day, so you couldn't make more money? You don't have ideas to generate more income? What did you feel about money at the beginning of the year? When you saw people who had a lot of money, who were wealthy, what were your thoughts towards them? Are those thoughts the same thoughts now? Okay. And then I want you to think about this. Was it stressful in January with regards to money? Was it scarce? Was it steady? Did it feel like it was expanding? Okay. I hope you are writing this down. It's so important to create a new, improved, top, amazing 2026. Okay. Now, with all of that, look where you are today. So this is December the 14th. It is, what time is it? 47 minutes into the live, 12:47. Okay. Ooh, we might run over. 47 minutes into the live. Did anything shift between January and now with regards to your thoughts on money? Did your income change? Did you make more? Did you make less? Did you get another job? Did you lose a job? Did you start a business? Did your relationships with money change? Did your confidence around money change? Are you able to have conversations about money? Something to think about. So now here's going to be the reframe, because we're going to reframe this, okay? Money is not a moral report card. So the amount of money is not a moral report card. It's just feedback. It's feedback that reflects your self-concept, so your identity and who you believe you are and what you believe you're worthy of. It reflects your expectations, whether you expect it to be hard to get or you expect it to be easy to get. It absolutely reflects that. Your tolerance for receiving. It reflects how tolerant you are for receiving. So if somebody's like, do you need any help? And you're like, no, I'm good, I got it. But you're struggling, because I've been there. I've been there to the point where I was in foreclosure. And do you need any help? No, I'm good. Yes, I'm screaming on the inside. Yes, I need help. So your tolerance and your capacity for receiving, right? And then it reflects your belief in what's possible for you. So if money felt tight, it doesn't mean that you failed. Okay? It doesn't mean that you failed by any means. It just means that you were operating from an identity that didn't feel safe holding more just yet. And that is something that can be changed. Okay? So that's good. That is something that can be changed. So let's talk about the part that most people don't want to reflect on, the missed opportunities and the cost for hesitating. There's a cost to waiting. There's a big cost to waiting, opportunity costs and monetary costs. Okay? When we acknowledge the things that we accomplished, we have to acknowledge the things that we didn't. So this is really just a moment of us to be truthful. Okay? There's no shame in this. I want to shine a light on it for you. Okay? So this is you thinking, this is you reflecting. This is for you to reclaim your power and to really be empowered, because this is the truth. What you didn't do this year is just as important as what you did. What you didn't do this year is just as important as what you did. Okay? So let's talk about the opportunities that you didn't take. And this is where I want you to be honest. Please share some in the comments, okay? There's no judgment here. you probably didn't do things not because you weren't capable of it, right? Because we already know you're capable of just about anything. If you're able-bodied, you can do probably just about anything. You can learn how to fly a plane and fly a plane, okay? You can go bungee jumping and just bounce, bounce, bounce. You can do anything. But this is because your identity at the time when you didn't do it didn't allow you to step into what it is that you wanted to do. So where did fear lead your decisions? Where did fear lead your decisions? So you didn't do something because you were afraid of what people thought about you, that you were afraid that they were going to judge you, you were afraid of the preconceived notions that they have or how they were going to perceive you. You were afraid of what people would think if they saw you trying, if they saw you learning. I had a one-on-one consultation call with someone the other day, and we were talking about, for them, they wanted to really take their health seriously and go work out and do all the things and eat differently. But the group of friends that this person had, they didn't support that lifestyle. They were not into it. And they would make fun of him for taking his healthcare seriously, which is wild to me. And so what did he do? He stopped. He stopped. He did not accomplish his goal of getting stronger, of becoming healthier, of living a healthier lifestyle, because he was afraid of losing the friends, because it didn't align with their goals. And he was afraid of just what they would say. So what did fear lead? What did fear lead your, or where did fear lead your decisions, right? Maybe you didn't have all the decisions, you didn't have all the answers to make a decision, so you just said, I'm not going to do it. Maybe, right? That happens. Or the fear of the unknown, fear of uncertainty. That happens too. So you don't experience the great thing because I don't have all the information. I didn't do enough research. I didn't talk to enough people. I didn't see enough evidence. Not that I didn't trust myself. I didn't see enough evidence externally. Maybe you had a bad dating experience, and so you turned down offers for connection. I don't know. That's something that happens because you feared that maybe you'd have the same experience again. It happens. Where did doubt hold you back? Think about that. So that little voice in your head that says, you shouldn't do it, right? And then you listen, you hesitate. Or where did confidence delay you? Okay, so you'd be like, well, I'm not so sure I can make this happen, or I'm not so sure I'm good enough to do this. So even though I want to, I'm really not so sure. And what happens? You miss out on the opportunity. So where did confidence delay you? And then we talked about paradigms. Those are your habits. Where did those paradigms limit you? So your paradigms are a group of habits that are running your life. You don't even know you have them. When I was working in network marketing, a wonderful industry, by the way, to earn income on the side. When I was working in network marketing, I knew that I was supposed to connect with people. I was supposed to reach out to people. I was supposed to ask them to view my opportunity and or my products. I knew I was supposed to do it. I knew that it was necessary for me to grow. I could not bring myself to do it for the life of me. I could not. Like, I'm sitting there with my phone in my hand or my laptop, and I just could not type a message. And in my head, I knew I was supposed to do it. But I had this stronghold, this habit that wouldn't allow me to do it because what would people think? I'm not supposed to do this. You know what I mean? And so I missed out on thousands of dollars. Luckily, I learned how to attract customers to me, but still, it could have been so much greater, so much bigger. So what habits, where did your old paradigm limit you, right? Maybe it stopped you from talking to that person or applying for that job, or and now it's too late. Maybe it stopped you from missing out on a sale, right? Because you thought you had more time, and now the price has gone up and you're shit out of luck, right? Have you ever experienced that? I have. I'm like, you know what? The sale's going to last longer. Don't worry, I'm good. And maybe you only had just that amount of money that the sale covered. And now you're out of luck again because it's gone back up to regular price. Now you don't have the thing that you want. You don't have the experience that you wanted to have because of that thing that you wanted. And you feel bad. So This is not about regret. This is just about radical honesty. Okay. I want you to think about that. So these are some prompts. Okay. Not opportunities. What opportunities did you hesitate on that still bother you to this day? So throughout the year, what's something that you should have done? You hesitated on it. And in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I should have. I should have. One I hear all the time is, Shani, I should have enrolled in Unlimited, or I should have done your one-on-one program. And I'm like, well, I'm still here, baby. There's still time, right? I don't want you to beat yourself up over things like that. What ideas did you have that you didn't execute? What ideas did you have that you didn't execute? You do know that the ideas that are given to you that are out of the norm, that are not like something you typically think of, those are given to you from God. Our 4D or our imagination is where we co-create with God. It is our praying area. It is our connection area. We get this idea, not because we can't do it, but because we're capable of doing it, because we are tasked with doing it. And so what idea did you not execute that was given to you? And now another one bites the dust. Yeah? Where did you say next month or next time, or I'll do it at the beginning of the month, or I'll do it when I'm ready, or I'll do it when I have more money? You know, you have opportunities. You could do something on a payment plan instead of doing it all right out, but you just decide to do it. So where's something that you put it off? What do they say? Don't put off something until tomorrow that you could do today. Where's something that you put off until tomorrow? Or what is something that you put off until tomorrow? Another question, what desires are still desires because you didn't take the action? Aligned action at that. What desires are still desires because you did not take aligned action? Think about that. And then where did fear override your intuition? So you know you could do it. You just know. But your brain told you, ooh, it's scary, it's scary. What if it doesn't work? What if you spend all this time and you don't get what you want? What if you put yourself out there and the desire and the outcome is not what you desired? So you don't do it. You let your fear be greater than your desire. When did that happen? Fear override your intuition. And then where did your identity keep you small? So you might tell yourself that only certain people can accomplish certain things. I'm not the right race. I don't have the right body. I'm not smart enough. I didn't go to school. I can't accomplish some things. People won't listen to me because I didn't go get a doctorate degree to teach a certain thing. Like, where did your identity keep you small? You told yourself, I can't do it. I'm not worthy of it. It's just, I'd love to, but it's just not me. And we've all done this at one point or another. Okay? I want you to just give yourself some grace. So just sit with this. Okay? What's missing from your life right now that you could have created, that only you could have created? What's missing from your life right now that only you could have created? Okay? I want you to think about that. But I also want you to understand that you were never unworthy. You were never, ever, ever unworthy. You were just operating from an identity that wasn't aligned with your future self yet, or your manifested self. They just weren't in alignment yet. They weren't like this. Let's do this. They weren't like this. You were like that. So it just never caught up. But this is the empowering part of all of this. And I love this. And I love sharing this with my students and my clients. What's missing doesn't have to stay missing. Okay? What you didn't choose, you can choose it right now. What you didn't buy, you can buy it right now. What you paused on, you can resume or you can restart. What you avoided, you can handle it. You can face it because you're capable. What you feared, you can lead. You know when they say face your fears? Literally, when you face your fears, then your fears, you realize that, oh, I was afraid of what? And sometimes the anticipation of a thing is greater than the reality of it, and you're afraid of what you think might happen. Then you create anxiety, and now you're anxious and scared, and you don't have what you want. But when you face it, and you're just like, oh, I wasted time being afraid of that. Okay? This clarity actually is so freeing. It's so freeing. Okay? And so on this, tomorrow, we're actually going to build the vision and the how to help you turn this around. Okay? How are we doing on time? Oh, not bad. Okay. So, any questions? Good. So this is something that's important. I want you to release self-judgment, okay? So you judge yourself in ways that you would never judge anyone else. You would never judge someone you love. You would never judge a child that way, but you judge yourself in that way. I used to be told by someone that when you point one finger at you, there are three more pointing back at, or point one finger at someone, there are three more pointing back at yourself. So when you think somebody is judging you, they're not judging you. You're judging yourself, right? So if your best friend told you about the year that they had, would you call them lazy? Would you say that they're behind? Would you say that they're not good enough? Or would you say, like, well, okay, of course you struggled. Like, look at the load you're carrying, right? You're giving grace. And judgment actually contracts energy. Judgment contracts energy, and compassion expands the energy. So you want to have compassion. Judgment compacts the energy or contracts it. The compassion expands the energy. So manifestation now, it only flows through expansion. So we have to have compassion. We have to. And growth doesn't require the cruelty that we give ourselves because we're so cruel to ourselves. Okay? It just requires honesty and grace. So please be graceful with yourself. Give yourself some grace. Be honest about the situation. Don't make up excuses as to why things didn't go your way or why you didn't accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. No excuses, just honesty. Okay? And now, when it comes to why your manifestation doesn't work, now leading off of that, most people try to manifest from a place of dissatisfaction. So I'm not happy with the way things are, so I'm going to manifest a new reality. I'm not happy with the way someone treats me, so I'm going to manifest a new partner. I'm not happy with the money that I have, so I'm going to manifest more money. We do it from dissatisfaction. They want a new future while hating the present, right? What do you think is going to happen in that case? The energy that you put forth to manifest the thing that you want is still in the energy of you hating the present. So you get what you are energetically aligned to, right? So manifestation, it responds to your identity congruence. You can't manifest abundance while secretly believing you're behind. You can't manifest money, and abundance is not necessarily money, okay? Just putting that out there. But you can't manifest wealth and money and riches while secretly believing that you can't make money, it's not going to happen for you. You have to work really, really hard to get this extra. You can't do that. That's not going to happen. It's not going to work. You can't manifest expansion while shaming your past. No. But when you bless your year, even the hard parts, then you're going to stop resisting yourself. And resistance is what's blocking your creation. So when you're looking to manifest the things that you want, first of all, is our identity in check? Are we showing up as a person that has the things, that could get the things that we desire, that we could make manifest? Is our energy aligned with that identity? If not, then we've got to get into alignment, and then we've got to adopt the right identity. We're going to work on that tomorrow, okay? So I just want you to know, like, today is about, it's not about fixing anything. It's just about integrating. So I want to do a 5-minute exercise with you. This is going to, again, require you to pull out that pen and paper. We're going to do a little journaling exercise. Just 5 minutes, okay? I'm going to put on some music. We're going to listen to this music, and we're going to journal for 5 minutes. This is not your opportunity to go make some tea or to go to the washroom or to like watch some TV or to walk away. None of that. This is for you, okay? So what I want you to journal on is this. Think about this. How would I describe my year in a few sentences? Okay. How would I describe my year in a few sentences? How did 2025 feel to me? How did 2025 feel to me? And then what did I learn about myself? Okay. So describe your year in a couple sentences, a few sentences. What did this year feel like? And what did you learn about yourself? I don't want you to fix anything. I don't want you to edit anything. I just want it to be truth. Okay. So I'm going to put on some music. We're going to do this for about 5 minutes. There goes my journal. We're going to do this for about 5 minutes. And then we're going to come back. Okay. So does everyone have their pen and paper ready with them? Give me a thumbs up if you do. We all have our pen and paper. Oh, boom. Here we go. Here we go. believe that was about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. What did we learn about ourselves? What did we learn about ourselves? If you are open to sharing and you are not shy, okay, what did we learn about ourselves? So the questions that we were reflecting on were, how would I describe my year in a few sentences, in a couple sentences, 1, 2, 5, whatever. How did 2025 feel to me? And then what did I learn about myself? So I'll share with you what I wrote, because again, we're doing this together. I wrote that I described my year as turbulent. My year was actually turbulent. So it started out great. It was very peaceful. I launched the business. I took a step back from the one-on-one mentorship. And then shit hit the fan. Shit hit the fan when I decided to manifest for some big things. And I realized that's just something that actually does happen with manifestation. It feels like the world is bottoming out. It feels like everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. And what I realized was I was just being positioned. I understood that. But before, if I didn't know that, I would just think that, why me? What's going on? So it was really, really turbulent when I started manifesting for more. But then once I still stayed along with it, I pushed through, then the clients started coming in. Then the podcast started happening. Then more income started coming in. Then I started feeling better in my body. I started eating better. My figure changed. I was feeling healthier. I was getting more sleep. Doing all of these things. There were lots of ups and downs. How did it feel? It felt freeing. It actually felt very freeing because I realized that I was responsible for the things that were going on in my life, where it could be easy to just say, you know what, things didn't go the way I wanted them to in certain parts because somebody didn't show up for me or whatever the situation may be. But it was very freeing knowing that every thing that I have going on in my life is a result of the way I think, the way I act, the way I believe, and who I believe myself to be. So that also means that any good thing, any great thing, anything that comes, any manifestation, any quantum leap is based on me. I have complete control over that, which is great until I decide to let go and let it happen, right? And of course, God directs my steps. So that was very, very freeing for me. And then what did I learn? I learned that I'm a great business person. I'm a great friend. I'm a very good teacher. I'm a very, very, very good teacher. I learned that I'm a very good mother. I learned that I'm super compassionate. And I learned that I no longer have the tolerance for certain things that I had before. Perhaps it's because I'm older now. I'm in my 40s now. And people say, like, when you get into your 40s, just certain things you won't tolerate. I don't care if you like me. I don't care because I like me, right? So that's what I learned. What did you guys learn about yourself? Why don't you go ahead and share that in the comments? One thing, what did you learn about yourself? If you feel compelled. It could be you learned, if you're not doing anything right now, you learned that you're shy. That could be it, and that's okay. And you learned that maybe you have a fear of judgment, because at one point or another, we all did, right? But again, you get to a certain part in your life and you're just like, I don't care. And I wish that I don't care on all of you. I don't care on all of you, okay? So if you feel like sharing, go ahead and just put that in, like what came up in the reflection. But we're going to move on, okay? I want you to recognize that we have a lot of themes in our lives in the year. The themes, they show up as patterns, they show up as initiations, but we have a lot of themes, okay? So while you were thinking and doing your reflection or your journaling, if you haven't done it yet, but it's fine, come back to it. But while you were thinking about it, did you notice any theme? Did you notice, or like, what kept showing up for you? What ideas, what thoughts kept showing up for you about what January through December was like? Did you always have a good time with certain things? Did you always have a hard time with certain things? Did you find that you were always struggling to make ends meet? What was always showing up for you? Did you always see yourself in a doubtful way? Did you always see yourself as capable, as you're looking at things through the lens of possibility, right? What's that? I'll keep reflecting, but can relate to everything you were sharing. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Keep reflecting. And thank you for your comment. So, like, think about all of that, you know? And then what lessons were repeated until you listened? When I found myself in the process of foreclosure again, years ago, for the last time, I understood that there was a lesson that I had to learn, but I was, for some reason, ignoring it. I didn't know what the lesson was at the time. When I finally figured out what the lesson was, is that I was identifying as a person who thought that they had to struggle. I was identifying as a person who thought that they had to work super hard just to get like a crumb, just to get my piece of the pie, right? And then when I did some identity shifting and I reprogrammed my subconscious mind, I enrolled in a program. It cost me $8,000 US. And I didn't even have that. And remember, I'm in foreclosure at the time. But I knew that something had to change because there was a lesson that I needed to know. There was a lesson that I needed to learn. I wasn't learning it. I had to figure it out. But once I started learning that lesson, I started showing up differently. And then I created a business that taught people how to do just that, how to show up differently by being different, by thinking different, by believing different, which impacted their results. Next thing I know, I'm free and clear in my home. I don't have a mortgage anymore. I paid that off. Next thing I know, I've amassed over $1 million in less than a year because there was something that I needed to learn. And I learned that lesson. That lesson for me was in my identity. I had to learn that the person I was carrying on, the identity that I had adopted, was given to me by others. And I just walked along with it. I didn't question it. Half the time, that's what we're doing. So what lesson was repeated until I listened? When I finally listened, my life completely changed. It was a quantum leap. It was so quick. I wasn't even sure if I could handle the capacity, the change that was coming to me all at once. But you know what? I said, okay, I can do this. And with God, I can do great things. God, I can't, you can, just make it happen. Okay, so I want you to think about that. And then what version of you, it's a fruit fly, I got it. What version of you was being shaped? So think about that. Those are the themes. Themes are invitations. Some of them you're going to want to carry into the new year, and others you're going to just want to be done with. And that's good. That's why we reflect. Okay? That is why we reflect. So what I want you to do now is start looking at your identity, recognizing that there's loops. And I want you to start closing those loops. Okay? Releasing the old is what creates space for new. I say this on almost every live. You cannot open new doors with old keys. Releasing the old is what creates space for the new. So, but before you step into 2026, you got to acknowledge what no longer fits you, right? What identity no longer fits. So who do you believe you are? Who do you believe you are? And do you want to believe that about you for the rest of your life? Because you can choose your identity. It doesn't matter what you have going on. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter about the people in your life. It doesn't matter about what they think. It's all about you reflecting on you. Who do you want to be? What identity do you currently have? Your characteristics, your traits, your personality traits that no longer fits with the life that you want to live. Okay? What beliefs do you have right now that are expired? So I used to believe that I had to look a certain way in order to, like when I was in network marketing, I had to look a certain way so that people would buy from me. What? Right? I see here, you can't look like a shipwreck trying to, what is it? You can't try to be a dreamboat, but you're looking like a shipwreck. Oh, I remember someone said that to me once. And I was like, well, damn, but then realized that I could sell freaking fish to water. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's about how I identified. So what beliefs have expired? I no longer believe that you have to work really, really, really hard and break your back to make money. I don't believe that anymore. And the reason I don't believe that is because when you look around, the people who are working the hardest oftentimes have the least. The people who are working the hardest oftentimes have the least. And I always say, if the amount of money that we made was dependent upon how much effort we put in, then you, myself, we would all be on a freaking yacht right now sipping pina coladas. I don't like pina coladas, sipping margaritas. It's got nothing to do with the amount of effort. It's who we are being while we're putting in the effort. Okay? I have more time now in my life connecting with more people in a little bit of time. So it's not about the amount of effort. That was a belief that I had. I don't have that belief anymore. And evidence shows me that my new beliefs is true. What you believe to be true will be your reality. It will be your fact. Okay? What habits did you have that were survival based? What habits did you have that were survival based? You did the job because you had to. You spoke to this person really kindly at work so that they would give you more hours. Oh, I did that before. Couldn't stand this person, but I did it because I needed more hours, right? What did you do that was survival based? So that you can afford your home, so that you could feel better in your skin, whatever it was. I used to diet. When I was in high school, I used to take diet pills, hydroxycut. I used to starve myself, all of these things. It was survival to me. I thought I had to look a certain way. And that came from childhood, like beliefs telling me that if I don't watch what I eat, I'm going to turn out like my two fat aunties. That was ingrained in me. And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Now I'm a different person. I don't care. I'm healthy, but I eat what I want to eat. You know what I'm saying? What patterns were protection based? So things that you did just to protect yourself. Okay. And then what choices were fear based? So we got to think about that as we're closing the identity loop. These things are part of the identity that you have. So if you do fear-based actions, make fear-based choices, there's an identity, something in you that says, you know what, I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I'm afraid I can't have, I'm afraid I can't be, I'm afraid I can't do. So we've got to identify that by identifying those fear-based actions. So now ask yourself these questions. And again, you guys are going to have to come back to this because there are a lot of reflection questions that I'm giving you. And while I don't want you to take days and days and days to go over it, this is just to get you prepared for next year. It's really important that you still participate in it. Okay, you still do it, still acknowledge it. So, what beliefs about money, success, love, or yourself feel outdated right now? When I answered that question, I was like, well, shit. Well, shit. What beliefs about money, success, love, or yourself feel outdated? Okay. What identities did you operate from that you cannot follow into 2026? Okay. So listen, half the time we've got different identities. We have the person that we are with our friends, the person that we have with our family, the person that we are at work, the person that we are online. If you can just take all of those identities and amalgamate them into one and figure out who your true self is, who you really want to be, that'd be great, right? What habits kept you small? What habits kept you small? What emotional cycles are you done repeating? Please spend some time on that one, okay? And what version of you is ready to be released? Yes. What version of you is ready to be released? I want your 2.0. What we do in Unlimited is we help you become the version of you who is your greatest, highest, grandest version. The version of you that's required to match energetically and align with your greatest desires. So who do you need to be? We are very good at that. I have clients who've improved their identity to be one that they can receive a lot of love, a lot of kindness, a lot of friendship, a lot of money. They receive a lot. That is their identity. And you know what? They receive a lot. They're in positions where they can just do whatever they want because they can receive. They've adopted that identity. Okay? And so you know, releasing doesn't mean that the version of you that you are right now was wrong. It's okay. Just like I hate the saying, but a snake sheds its skin. It's got to let the new one out. You're not snakes. Okay? Or a butterfly or a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. It's evolving. That's what we're doing. So releasing doesn't mean that the version of you was wrong. It just means that that version of you has brought you to as far as you could go. And that only a new identity will take you further. Okay? And so at the end of today's session, we're almost done. Yeah. At the end of today's session, I'm going to actually walk you through our bless and release activity that will help you close out the year and begin your 2026. Okay. So this one is something you're going to have to do when we're done with this live. And I think you're going to really love this. This is it's an activity that I do every year. I learned about this in 2019, 2020. And I've been doing it every year ever since. My one-on-one students have been doing it. It's been really, really impactful. Okay. What else do I want to tell you? So actually, you know what? Let's skip to that. So this evening, I want you to consciously release what no longer belongs to you. Okay? I want you to think about it. Consciously release what no longer belongs to you. So you're going to write down, I'm releasing the belief that, and whatever that is. So it could be, I'm releasing the belief that I'm not worthy of success. I'm releasing the belief that I have to work harder than everybody else to get half as much. I'm releasing the belief that I'm unlovable. I'm releasing the belief that I have to work really hard for money. Whatever belief you're releasing, I'm releasing the belief that my relationship is not salvageable. Whatever it is, you're going to write that down. I'm releasing the belief that. In fact, let me put that in the comments. I'm releasing the belief that. Okay? I'm releasing the belief that. Then, and you write that up, but then next to it, so you can have like one side here and then the other side of the paper, it's going to be a new statement of truth. You're going to write the truth that you're choosing instead. Okay? So I'm releasing the belief that I'm unworthy of love and success. On the other side. But the truth is, I am more than worthy of love and success. So I'm releasing the belief that I'm financially broken on this side. The truth is, money responds to me with ease. Okay? I'm releasing the belief that I'm behind. I should be farther along in my life. When the truth is, I'm exactly where my growth requires me to be. Okay? So you're going to do that. This is very important that you do this. You're going to do this in the evening, okay? I want you to then tear that paper up. Okay? Tear that paper up. And you can do one of two things. This is a symbolic releasing of these beliefs. And what you will come to realize is that you had limiting beliefs. You probably didn't even know you had. Okay? So all the things that didn't feel good to you about you, write them down and then write the statement of truth. It could be more than one thing. You're either going to tear that up into little pieces, little fine pieces, and throw it in the garbage. You can crumple it up and throw it in the garbage. Okay? While you're doing that, you're saying your statement of truth. Or what we do is we get a bowl and we light that paper on fire. Right? Symbolically, you're watching those old beliefs go up in smoke. And it feels so peaceful and it feels so freeing. So you're going to do that. You can either do it like inside, be careful. You can do it outside. You can do a bonfire. put it in water, and have the fire and then put it in water, whatever it is, please be careful. But you're going to release it. We're going to bless what was, and then we're going to release it. Okay? It's not fluff. This is going to be how your nervous system responds to decisions made with emotions and with action. You're literally telling your nervous system, this is not me anymore. This is my new truth. Okay? You're telling your body, we are done carrying this. We are done. We're not moving into the new year with what was. We are done carrying this. Okay? You're honestly going to feel lighter because you'll be lighter. You're releasing the weight of limiting beliefs that have held you down for however long, but especially the ones that you recognize from 2025. If you've never done a reflection before, if you've never done a bless and release before, you're really going to like this. You're really, really, really going to like this activity, okay? And so I just want you to know something, okay? Nothing about this year was wasted. Not one thing. There was a lesson. There was something, okay? It wasn't random. It wasn't for nothing. Whatever the situation that you were in, it was not a waste. There was a purpose behind it. Everything served you, whether you believe it or not. Everything shaped you, whether you believe it or not. Okay? And everything prepared you for what's to come. And what's to come is beautiful if you allow it to be. It's all on you. Okay? So tomorrow we're going to create the vision. And we're going to step into the possibility. And we're going to learn about the identity that serves us. We're going to create new identities. We're going to really build it. Okay? We're going to open that portal to the life that you really, really, really actually want. So today, day 1, we've cleared the past. And day 2 creates the future. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you. Tomorrow, I'm also going to let you in on a huge announcement. I gave a teaser at the beginning that it has to do with thousands of dollars, but you must be on tomorrow in order to potentially receive thousands of dollars. Okay? It's just going to be a really, really great day. Please do the bless and release. I will also ask, if you feel called to it, take a picture of your bless and release. You can either take a picture of you tearing it up, maybe do a video of you tearing it up. You can take a picture of it torn up. You can take a picture of it burnt and then post it in the group. Okay, so this is sharing in our money mindset and manifestation group. Go ahead and share it in the group. If you're watching the replay, still do the same. Still do the same. Take a picture and put it in the group or put it in the comments. Okay? I'm so excited for you. I'm really grateful that you allowed me to help guide you through releasing 2025. The year's not done. If you still have goals, you're still going to go after them. You go and you persist until. But now we know what we need to release so that we can step into our new year the way we want to step into our new year. We're no longer taking things that don't serve us. You are better. You are worthy. You are great. You are deserving. You're deserving of an amazing, fantastic life. And we're going to begin that tomorrow. Okay? So with that, I'm Shani Leatham. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.